Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we have a very special review impressions of a knife that was given to the channel by Tactile Knife Company. They were looking at one of my other knives and they said, hey, would you like to check this out? And I said, sure. Well, they gave the channel the knife and eventually this will become a channel giveaway. I'm super excited about this. Well, let's take a look at this. This is the Chupacabra. Yeah, the mythical, vampire beast or whatever thing that would kill animals and whatever. So, but it is called the Chupacabra because it's an interesting knife. It has a modified Snex lock. If you're familiar with Snex designs, and his Snex lock, it's called a Superlock. They modified it a bit. Now, this is a little cooler than that because it also has a Magnacut blade with this beautiful satin finish right here, which I really do like very much. A true, to me, what I would call a sheep's foot Wharncliffe. I mean, it all depends on what you want to call it. Modified sheep's foot, Wharncliffe, whatever you want to call this. By all means, feel free, because people will argue one way or the other because it has a belly, because it's round, whatever. Still very, very, very cool lock. Now, I will tell you, I'm not a fan of a Snex lock. I've never been. The Vision R and the Vision FG were cool. Interesting. I've checked them out, done reviews. Still wasn't a fan, right? I've checked out some of the other, other things, and the design itself is not comfortable for big meaty fingers, right? Unless this was much wider, it's just not my cup of tea. Even the Shark Lock, I'm not a big fan, especially in the small Shark Cub. Not a fan. So just let you know that up front. But that being said, it's a really good knife. Okay, so I have to give credit where credit is due, even if it's not my aesthetic, and I'm impressed. I'm thoroughly impressed. So let's talk about this knife. All right, we'll get into this. I think you guys, if you're a Snex Superlock, Vision R, whatever fan, you're gonna be highly impressed with this. So let's talk about this. The knife name, it's called the Chupacabra. Manufacturers Tactile Knife Company out of Dallas, Texas. So it's a USA company, USA made. The designer, so it's a Snex lock, but I believe the head honcho, Will Hodges, he approached their lead engineer with a mission about, let's make it even better than anything that they wanted before. So I guess after a lot of coffee, I'm reading the story here, after lots of coffee, they came up with it and they jokingly decided to call it the Chupacabra after the mythical beast. Let's talk about it. All right, so what are the materials? Aluminum. This is aluminum scales, but they're black coated, which is really cool. And I believe this is it the 7075 aluminum handles, which is anodized. So it's really nice, done well. Okay. It is a steel clip, and we can verify that. Yeah, steel clip. I would like aluminum personally, just because I tend to bend these steel clips. But it does have that sort of Tonto sort of clip thing. It does go up a little bit here. It does have a little flexibility, so I mean that works. But if I carried this regular, I'd probably bend the heck out of it. T8 screws all the way around, which is really nice. 2 in the front, technically 4 in the non-show side, right? Even T8s on the thumb studs, which I might personally replace. I did put black 6mm O-rings on here. I think that makes a big difference. It is steel liners. I'm pretty sure of that. Yeah, steel liners. So, and this is the Snex lock right here, which looks similar but doesn't function anything like a Shark lock. But it's, it's an interesting design. It does have standoffs in the back. I don't see any place really technically for a lanyard hole. Even this hole right here is just really to get to the screw. So, I mean, I guess you could loop something around there, but it's awfully close to the blade. So, not recommended. Good blade to handle ratio. I mean, there's a little bit of wasted room there, but based on the knife, I think it works okay. Now, what's really cool about this, it's the Snex lock. So it has thumb studs for deployment, and you can do that. Now, middle finger reverse flick. There we go. Middle finger. It does middle finger reverse flick, both left and right-handed. So you have bonus flick on here. So open and close is really cool. I like that. The Snex lock right here, if you notice, this goes back like this. It clicks here and releases, right? So you see that? Now it's a very strong spring. And it has to be a strong spring because it really keeps it in there solid. Some people were complaining that, if they did a spine whack, I don't spine whack. I do not whack the spines of any of my knives. And here's the reason. If you know the engineering principle of a spine whack and you know what it is, it's a blunt force. It's something, you're never going to be out there whacking the back. I mean, what are you doing if you're doing that with a knife? Get a fixed blade. I cannot imagine anybody taking a folding knife and cutting so hard that they're whacking the back of it. You need a fixed blade for that kind of action. I don't logically, reasonably even think that's a possibility. Maybe you tap it, but what do you expect if you tap anything? You know, I mean, you drop a blade, you break off a tip or something. Those things happen, right? I mean, you're doing something that the knife's not designed to do. So first of all, I don't do spine whacking. I personally, you know, if you want to do it, your knife, you go ahead. Don't ever expect me or ask me to do it. I don't do it, right? I will do a pressure test to see if it holds, right? I will see if it's on there very well. I will kind of release the lock and see, you know, how weak and how far do you have to go before it breaks the lock. But I'm not going to go and do any sort of weird spine whack test. That being said, this thing is solid. It's in there really, really solid. You could adjust the spring. There's a spring in there. You could adjust the spring. You could make it looser, but then you're disengaging the lock, right? The lock will be disengaged sooner. I will tell you to release the lock on this thing, it might be a little easier to disengage it like that, right? Now that I think about it, that might be a more comfortable disengagement, at least for me. Because I can tell you, my finger, I don't have super thick calluses. I don't like the Snex lock. This has never been comfortable for me, ever. Matter of fact, the shark lock with the little shark lock, the shark cub with the little bitty shark lock was super uncomfortable. I ended up selling that knife. I just wasn't comfortable. Did not like it. The regular shark lock, I like the 80-20.5, the one made, that one's pretty cool. Now, just to be fair and bring it in here, that one has a little bit there, it's a little bit wider, it's a little easier to get to, right? And it's not as resistant, but it also has a different mechanism and driving principle. This is not my absolute favorite right here. I do enjoy these, and this original goat scale is really cool looking, right? But Rockscale Designs made this. They made more axis for this, which this is an improvement on the regular Snex. The Snex on the Vision R, absolutely did not like that one. The Vision FG, way better than the Vision R. This, an even better iteration. I mean, maybe if they have more iterations and do more designs, maybe someday I'll like it. But like right here, this shark lock with all this extra axis, the most comfortable I've ever done until I actually got a USA-made 80-20 with the large shark lock. And that to me, that wide broadband, that works. Very comfortable for my big meaty fingers. Really enjoy that a lot. And so this is a much better iteration of any of the Vision R and Vision FG. So I say that it's gotten better. I like it more. I'm still not a fan. That doesn't mean I can't appreciate it. Just so you know that. It doesn't mean I can't appreciate it and I can't see the good and the value in it. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this because I feel like this is a pretty stinking cool knife. And I like their attempt, and I like their design, and I think if you're a fan of this design, you're really, really going to like this, okay? And I know a lot of you are. A lot of you love your Vision R, Vision FG. I get it. I get it. You know, there's some knives I liked, and then you guys like, totally understand that, right? Some people love axis lock, crossbar lock. Some people hate them. Some people love, you know, frame lock. Some people hate them. Some people like liner lock. Some people hate them. Some people like shark lock. Some people hate them. Some people like the triad lock. Some people hate it. You know, it's a matter of perspective, and that's why there's so many awesome designs out there, and I love that. I have the Archer, the Tactile Knife Company Archer. Love that knife. Matter of fact, I'm carrying that particular knife today. Love the Archer. It's another design by them. One of my favorite knives out there right now. Love this knife. Fantastic knife. Highly, highly recommend that knife. Let me get it out of the picture so we don't focus. Wow, that's really in camera, isn't it? Really, really great knife as well. But this is one of those things that you're gonna love it or you're not, right? My personal opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the only person in the world that's not a Super Snex fan and Superlock fan. A Superlock fan. Boy, say that 10 times quickly. Okay. Anyways, but I do love the look of this knife. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love when you deploy this knife. This is a cool looking knife. This is just a cool knife. I wish it was a different lock, personal opinion. Or there was something else modified. I wish there was more texture. I wish this lock had a little, I don't know, I wish it would engage as it did, but wouldn't be so hard to push back. I find it extremely uncomfortable. I mean, I cannot fidget this. My finger hurts literally after a while. And maybe I just don't know the right angle. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's where I don't have the calluses in the right finger. I have calluses in every other place, but maybe not there. I get it. You know, that happens, right? We all have our different aesthetics, but this is so cool. Aluminum scales. It's not a super light knife. We'll get into the weights and measurements here in a second. The blade shape, I love this flat grind. And it is such a sharp, gorgeous knife. So how does it open? Thumb studs, and you get a bonus flick. So thumb studs work really nicely, very, very nice. Now, I think 6mm O-rings is a real must for that. I think if you don't do that, sorry, my phone just keeps going off, all sorts of alarms there. This is the way they have these, it's just really, it begs for that, right? But that's just my opinion, right? You know, let's see, can I do this? I thought I was, I can reverse flick it right-handed. I don't carry this knife a whole lot. So that's the honest truth, you know. But I appreciate it. I like it. I think it's unique. I think it's super awesome. And I know I've got a lot of subscribers, a lot of channel members who really would love to win this knife. And it's going to be a very special giveaway. We'll make this a big to-do about this one, because this is a cool knife. This is up there with some of the really, really, really nicer knives. I really think that this needs to be something super special, and we need to make a big deal about this, because it's a cool knife. This Magnacut is, Tactile Knife Company just does a really great job in the heat treat. And if for those of you who like, no one really does heat treat at 63, 64, 63, 64, 63, 64. The same as my Archer. Yeah, same as my Archer. The same as the Maverick that I had. I think I'm supposed to get another Maverick at some point. Hopefully I do. I'd like to re-review the Maverick. I did talk to them about it, and they were really cool about it. And hopefully I'll get a chance to re-review the Maverick, because I'm really looking forward to the Maverick that I saw at Blade Show Texas. And maybe I'll see it at Blade Show Atlanta again, because I think they'll be there. So much better than that Maverick that I got. I got a first edition Maverick, and it was, you know, I really felt like it was probably one of the first ones off the line. And so the same can be said about this. Now, I did hear some of the first ones of these, and they were the satin finish, and they were some of the first ones that came off the manufacturing line, and they would disengage on the lock, and they knew there was some manufacturing issue. They took them back. The new ones, they've addressed it. They don't have that same issue. And I believe this is one of the newer ones that doesn't have that same issue. So I don't think the issue will be here with this one. Now, if you happen to be the one that wins this knife and you go crazy and whack it, you're on your own. All right, that's your decision to do it. Honestly, the physics, if you know physics and principles of metal and fatigue and high impact pressure, you're going to fail to lock. You simply will. You're causing unnecessary stress points on areas that were never meant to have those stress points, right? It's a knife that was never meant to be intended, and those things will fail it. And every time you do a spine whack test, you damage your lock. That's just a reality. And people don't know that, you damage it. I've heard crazy things like someone taking a Herman Sting and spine whacking it. That is, all due respect, I think is absurd. Absolutely absurd. That is, I don't know, that's like taking a Lamborghini and running into a brick wall and then thinking that, you know, how come the Lamborghini, you know, can't do as well as, you know, I don't know, my Ford F-250, you know, diesel running into a brick wall? Well, one, you know, the Lamborghini's made out of aluminum, super high, super performance, super light, whatever, aerodynamic stuff. It's not meant to ever take any of those types of impacts, right? Maybe the Ford F-250 as a work truck is meant to do a lot of heavy duty work, you know. I don't know. It all depends on what's the intended purpose, what is it, right? So, yeah. So sorry about the rant there, and hopefully you skip past this if you didn't want to hear. But I really want to say that, because I know some people are, the first thing I get every time I dropped a short on this one, I dropped an unboxing, people were asking about that, and I tell you, I've had no issues. This has been solid. In there, solid. It doesn't fail. And look, even when it drops like that, what I really love is that little choil right there. It catches on my finger. So if I release it, which I got to tell you, okay, I just realized this. This is uncomfortable. This is a lot less uncomfortable. And this works. That's interesting. Okay. All right. All right. There you go. All right. So you have an alternative way to close it. All right. So we talked about how it opens, how it closes. So I found bonus, sorry. Let's get in there. Bonus flicking with the middle finger reverse flick, right? The thumb studs reverse flick here as well, like that, right? And then you can come over here and you should, yeah, there we go. I knew I could do it. I just, oh, what the heck was going on there? But then you also have the middle finger. I do have it. Sorry. I haven't handled this knife for a while, right? I did the review, thought about it, got my thoughts together, put it down. And sometimes when I get my thoughts together, I wait a little bit because I want to make sure I'm not emotional and say something that I'm going to go back and go, dang it, that's not what I meant, right? So sometimes it's good to take the knife, get your thoughts together, put it down, and then come back to it. Honestly, that's I feel like it's the best way to take it, right? Because if you just handle it, go right into it, and you're in a rage or whatever, something's annoying, you're going to say something that you may just be completely with blinders on and miss everything around you, which is fine. You know, you do what you do. You do you. All right. Other channel reviewers, they do them, right? I'm a little nerdy. I'm a little more engineering, thought provocative. Certainly can't talk. I may know the science, but I can't speak it, apparently. Thought provocative, right? So I'm a little more, I think these things to try to rationalize and understand it logically and the design wise. So I really do appreciate this knife, and I am very grateful to Tactile Knife for allowing me to check it. I will tell you, I didn't pay for this. I didn't. I was very curious to check it out. Here's the reality. Okay, I'm giving this knife. It's not gonna. It's, you know, I could have kept this, whatever. I'm gonna make it a giveaway. I have no. Let me put it to, how can I say this? If I give an honest review and Tactile Knife Company doesn't like it and never wants to send me another knife, I'm okay with that, right? I really am. I would be very sad because I really enjoy a lot of their products. I do. I genuinely do. I buy their stuff, my own money. I bought the Archer. I bought the Bayer. You know, I bought my pin. Matter of fact, here's my Tactile Turn. I love this pin. He's even got a little time mask. It's a little lock, actuation lock there. But I love their stuff. You know, I gave it Maverick. I was honest about it. I got one of the first ones. It was a bad one. I spoke honestly about it, and probably, you know, I know sometimes you can be honest. You can lose that avenue, that door to some people, right? I've done that with QSP. I've done it with others. I've done it with Concept N. And I suspect that's why I'm not on their golden child lists where you get knives, where other people get little samples all the time. And I'm okay with that, right? Because the reality is, you know, if that's what it takes to get stuff like that, I'm probably not going to do it. And it's probably knives that won't go into my collection. And I tend to buy knives that go into my collection, things that I enjoy. Now, I'll check out something if it's in a pass around, I get a chance to look at it, someone wants me to check it out, I'm more than happy to check it out. But I will be honest. And that's my approach here. So I think the opening, the closing is nice. If you get used to it and your finger get enough callus and everything like that, I could see how you like this. It's just, it gets uncomfortable for me. I fidget too much. So the opening, closing, the opening is fantastic. The closing is great until you do it too much. And then my finger hurts, right? So that's the reality. Let's talk about the blade. This blade is really something. 63, 64, Rockwell hardness, Magnacut, satin finish, beautiful sharp edge. I mean, strop it up and it gets even more crazy sharp. You can absolutely shave yourself right there. See, the hairs come right off. Nice and not super sharp around the back. It's well taken care of. The blade has got a beautiful thickness, almost a full flat grind, but it comes to a beautiful edge sharpening, beautiful edge, thin edge right here, and it does cut really nicely. That flat grind is going to be definitely a nice cut. You can pinch grip up. You've got this beautiful top up here with this little belly. So it's just a nice slicer with a nice tip, definitely getting in, poking into your fertilizer, mulch, dog food, cat litter, cases of water. So I think that's really wonderful. I love the look of it, the black scales right here, and that. Love the thumb studs. Again, recommend 6mm O-rings. You can do something different besides the black. I like the black. I think it complements the knife. I like the steel clip. The way it works, it's the best steel clip you're going to get for this knife. Now, I prefer titanium, just my 2 cents, right? I love, again, Magnacut, all that stuff. The steel liners work really great. The Superlock works really great. So that's the blade, the coating, the finish. I love all of that. So let's get into the measurements. Enough rambling. We'll get down to the meat meat and potatoes, or whatever some of the other people call it. I've heard, I think Metal Complex calls it meat and potatoes. I don't know, something like that. I don't do meat and potatoes. I just call it my review. And so we're going to talk about the measurements. And this knife weighs 4.8 ounces. So it's not a super light knife. It's not a super heavy knife, but it's not a super light knife. It is steel liners. It is aluminum scales on here. Now, there is some milling you can see in here. I don't know if you can see that, some milling on the steel liners. Slight weight relief, not as much as maybe I would like, but that could be for strength, right? They could require that. Okay, let's look at the overall length of this knife. We're looking at a knife that is going to be... Ooh, let's get there. There we go. Knife that's going to be right at 7 3/4 of an inch, right? 7 3/4, which is not bad. Overall handle length for your grip, you really have 3.5 inches from here to here. If you decide to use that for like an extra large, double extra large hand, you got 4 inches. If you decide to try a little bit of a choke up, you got to be careful here. You can get up to about 4.5 inches. So, I have large hands, but big meaty fingers. So if you have extra large hands with regular fingers, this is about your grip. If you have double extra large hands with thinner fingers, this is about your grip. So you definitely have that extra choke. So I think extra large, double extra large hands, if you're willing to kind of go over a little here, you still have a good hand presentation. You can choke up here. I mean, I definitely can make that choke up work like that, and I definitely can make that work as a pinch grip, right? So that does work. Just keep that in mind. It's going to have a little sharp there. It's technically not a choil, but I guess it is. So it's a choil, but not. So, whatever. Going right here, we're looking from the tip to here about 3 1/4 inches, right? Overall cutting length, we're looking at about 3, it looks like 1/8 of an inch. So 3 1/8 of an inch is the overall cutting length. So as you can see, some people really love that thing, right? They love to be able to do that. And I get it. If that's your thing, yay, you go for it. Enjoy your knife, right, man? It's just, oops, oh, I almost pulled my knife light down. All right, so let's get the measurement here as far as blade stock thickness. We're looking at 135 thousandths of an inch. So it's not a thin blade. It's got some robustness to it. It's definitely, okay, maybe a little slighter on the edge, but that's because it's right where it tapers off. Yeah, so 135 thousandths of an inch, or 0.135 inches, 0.14 inches. It's right in between. Definitely pretty robust. It's going to definitely be a nice slicer. You're definitely going to get something out of that. I think, very cool, very cool. It'll definitely work for you. So, all right, what about this? Is it a budget knife? Is it a regular knife? Is it a high-end knife? All right, so I thought this knife was $300. It's $250, $249. So, I mean, it definitely falls into the regular category. It's going to be closer to the top end of the regular category. And I think for what you get, I mean, Magnacut 6364 HRC, yeah, that's pretty cool. So pretty cool. Purpose, EDC hard use collection piece. I do know that Tactile Knife Company says this is a hard use type of knife. I believe, I can believe that. I really can. Now, if you had one of those earlier ones and you hear the stories, it's kind of like what happened with other places, right? Somebody has a failure on one thing and that story just lingers, and then they think all of them failed because maybe there's 1 or 2 from that batch. And so it is what it is. I can tell you this one's solid. This one's very solid. As with any sort of lock, you can make them fail. If I take this shark lock and I start banging and whacking it, I'm going to fail it. At some point, I will fail it. Even an 80-20, you can make that fail at some point if you just go crazy enough, right? Just my 2 cents on that. So I think it's EDC, absolutely. Is it hard use? I really think, as far as a knife like this can be hard use, I do. I don't think this next lock is better than the shark lock. My personal opinion, but that's up for debate, right? You can tell me I'm wrong all day long, and that's fine. I also think, could it be a collection piece? Absolutely could be a collection piece. If you really like the Superlock and you like tactile knife, you can make this a collection piece. Wouldn't be a collection piece for me, but I mean, absolutely could be. So ergos and feel, overall design. How do I feel about the handles, opening and close, textures, jimping, and all that good stuff? Well, the jimping works here. It's a little short. I mean, it does work. It's functional. It's a little sharp on the edges. I wish this was a little more rounded. You got some sharp spots here, right here and here. That's and being aluminum and that it's anodized, if you try to soften that out, you're going to go right through to the aluminum. So, Yeah, I mean, it works because you're not really touching it, but to me, I love to have that little contouredness. Would that add to the cost? Absolutely would add to the cost. You're not going to, this knife would go from 249 to 350, right? Doing those extra touches. I mean, just looking at something like this right here, you see all the extra touches. That adds up. It adds up. Those are extra details that absolutely add up. So for what you get at this price range, I think it's a really stinking great deal. So overall design, it's great. Opening and closing it. For Snex lock, for Superlock, it's great. It really is. It's one of the more desirable, enjoyable Superlocks that I've handled. Like I said, I'm not a super fan of Superlocks, okay? Just a reality. But I appreciate them. I appreciate the design. I've always said that. And someday, maybe an iteration or a version of this is going to just absolutely appeal to me, right? Just like Hinder, at some point, they finally had a version that appealed to me, the non-flippers, right? I enjoyed that. That happens to all of us at some point. I think we find maybe a knife we don't like, but they finally have an iteration, and we're like, ooh, that's pretty cool. So, the texture, the jimping's good. The clip, there's no lanyard loop. Totally fine with that. I think all that's great. Opening, closing. Opening, closing is nice. I do like that little extra click. It reminds me of the Brian Nadeau where the whole blade works, their little nub detent that happens, right? I love that. Kind of you get that little extra click. You almost hear it on a on the kickstop on the Chavez Redition 229. You know, it has that little, the kickstop has that extra little click for the engagement. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Fidget factor. Well, you've got the thumb studs front and reverse. Okay. You can make that work if you're really into the Superlock, right? But you also have the bonus flick. So to me, normally I would give this maybe a 5, but the bonus flick gives this up to, I'm gonna say 6.5. I'll round it to 7. I'll give it a solid 7 for fidget factor scale. So you get a 7 because of all those other things. Now, fidgety goodness. This is my personal opinion. You may think differently, okay? I don't enjoy that because of how it works on my meaty fingers, and I don't have really thick calluses. Now, if you have more thick calluses and a little thicker tip there, and that's normally okay for you, your opinion is going to be much, much higher. And I know many of you are, because some of you guys really, really love your Vision R, Vision FG. I get it. I get it. I'm not that person, so that's okay. That's okay. So my fidgety goodness, I'm going to give this an 85. It gets a solid B. It loses points because of the uncomfortableness of that. For me, that's, you get a B, a solid B. If that were, I don't know, up at that level, it would definitely be an A. Absolutely be an A. It could even be 100. I don't know. But that's where I lose the points. That's just me. Okay? Those of you who love the Superlock, you're going to give this 100. I'm just telling you. So if you love your Superlock, add those points back into it, and that's really where you will be at. Okay? That's I believe that to be true. Okay? And I'm trying to be honest. I'm trying to be honest that I'm biased. I am biased, and I'm trying to remove that bias so you can make that decision, right? So, and that's just my bias. Just, it's the truth, so you take it for what you want. All right, overall final thoughts. Is it recommended? It is recommended. Is it something I would carry? No, it's not. I've never been a Snex Superlock fan. I haven't carried any of the designs yet. I haven't. Every time I handle them, I'm like, it's cool, it's nice. It just is not comfortable for fidgeting. And to me, ergos and fidgeting is a big deal, right? I want to be able to fidget all day long. I want to be able to take a knife and fidget all day long. There has to be that fidget enjoyment factor in there. And if it's not there, it's just not for me. But I'm going to absolutely recommend this because I think the iteration of the Snex lock, the Superlock here, this is one of the best out there. I really do agree with that. And I know people who love the Superlock. I really feel like if you like the Superlock, the Vision R, the Vision FG, this is just a natural thing to go to. And I think for $250 for what you get, USA-made knife, Magnacut, right? This is a great deal. I mean, this is ridiculous. For $250 USA-made, I would almost question if we could make something at this price. I still feel like theirs would be $225, maybe $245. I don't know if they could hit this. I mean, now they might do titanium, some other things, right? But I don't know. I just feel like this is a good price. Really, really, really good price. So something worth considering. So that's my overall thoughts. You tell me what you think. You think if I'm an idiot, whatever, I'm okay with that, right? You have your opinion, and your opinion is your opinion. And we may not agree with one another, but you know what? We learn from one another. And that's always the thing about my channel. I love to have those discussions. Now, if you don't agree with me, tell me why you don't agree with me. Don't just tell me I'm an idiot, because I would never tell you that you're an idiot, right? I would try to understand why you come from your opinion, and then I would make my case against that, right? Now, if you're a person, if I go up and I see you've got a major finger callus, you do some work, and you know your fingers are like super strong, and this is like no problem whatsoever, I would tell you this knife was made for you, absolutely made for you, right? So I'm cool with that. So all right, enough of that. Enough of that. Just a real quick look at the knife, just so you can see the gorgeousness of it before we go ahead and wrap up. I just want to make sure you guys can get a nice close look at it, because some of you guys want to pause, maybe take a look. I think seeing the inside of the lock there and seeing the top there, I think it's pretty cool, right? So that is the Chupacabra by Tactile Knife Company. I really want to thank them for allowing me to check this out and giving it to the channel for a giveaway. I'm excited to give this away. I think it's a fantastic knife to give away. It's a really, really, really nice knife. And it's going to be a fun giveaway. And I want to make sure you guys know that they felt strong enough about this that they were willing to give the channel a knife like this. And so let's try to make it a big deal, when we do have the giveaway for this, because I think it's going to be stinking awesome. Just my personal opinion. So yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you watching. And hey, if you found this content worthwhile, interesting, or entertaining, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? If you've already hit that like button, maybe consider hitting the subscribe button. Liking and subscribing the channel really helps out the channel, allows the channel grow, produce more content, do more things, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you to all you guys who watch the videos, who like the videos, and who enjoyed the videos. I so much appreciate you. And if you haven't already, hit that notification button down there as well, so you can be notified of future content like this video. And then also to all my channel members out there, a huge thank you. Appreciate every one of you guys. If you've been on the fence and you thought, hey, I'd like to become a channel member, I would love to have you. Check out the description down below. I have 3 different tiers. Would love to see you be a channel member. Please don't ever feel obligated or ever feel pressured to do so. Just enjoy the content, enjoy the live streams. More than grateful for any of that, all right? But if you do decide to become a channel member, I do try to do something very special, because we've had a lot of channel members, so I do a very exclusive channel members giveaway. That's my way to say thank you. I don't want that to be feeling like you're pressured to become a channel member, but it's my small way to say thank you to all of you. So, there. Also, if you're a brand new channel member and you haven't already email me with your name and address. I'd love to send you a sticker. If you've been a channel member for a while and you haven't emailed me, and that doesn't mean you became a channel member again. If you've already emailed me and you've already gotten a sticker, you're all set, right? Unless you became an Uber nerd and you haven't gotten the special Uber nerd sticker. That's a special one. If you've already gotten a regular sticker, you're all set. But if you haven't gotten the sticker and you're still a channel member or you're a brand new channel member, email me with your name and address, and I'll mail you a sticker. It's my small way to say thank you as well. All right, well, I appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, check me out over on Instagram as well at robs_nerdy_knives. That's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day and a great week.